Not every fragrance is a love at first sniff. These are some of the fragrances that caught me off guard when I first sprayed them on, and then I needed some time to warm up to them. And you know, there's 10 here. I was gonna add a few other ones, but I decided just to keep it to 10. I think these are the ones that really stood out in my memory upon looking at my fragrance collection, including this first one. So I totally forgot I own this one. And then when I was picking out my fragrances for this video, I saw this one and I remember I didn't really enjoy this one all that much. So I sprayed it on just now and I don't know why I hated this one. All right, so this is Jet Black Reserve by Michael Malol. And I initially bought this one because I thought it was the Jensen's, collaboration with them, but it wasn't. This is a totally different, this is just one of their fragrances. And this one has woody notes, amber, cardamom, and some peppery nuances, some lavender, and it's very warm, spicy. And I'll be honest, I have not sprayed this one on in like 2 years, and I almost forgot I had it. And I just spraying it on now. I'm really liking it, and I don't know why I didn't like it. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the video that I made of it to see what my initial thoughts were. But yeah, right now I'm really digging this, and I'm gonna try to wear this actually this week and get a full proper wear out of it. But this is an example of, the video concept right now is this whole warming up to fragrances. Like if you sprayed them on initially and you didn't really enjoy it, did you come back around and now do you like them? And that's some of the ones that here I absolutely love them. And it goes into that concept of initially I was a little taken back, and then now I'm like, this is really nice. All right, the fragrance that inspired this video, let's do this one first. This one is Armani Code, the Absolute version, the gold bottle, the discontinued gem. And this is the one that Jeremy Fragrance always pushes. All right, I won't touch too much on this one because I know it's discontinued, but this one is a very tonka bean heavy, vanilla heavy, and it's got this nice woody tone in here, and there's a little bit of an apple-y kind of thing and some fresh orange blossom. So really good, excellent fragrance here. One of my absolutely loves. I actually have 2 bottles of the Absolute Gold because I really like that one too. They added a note of saffron and a little iris into that one as well. It's an excellent fragrance. I love wearing it, and I bought the second bottle because I found it for like 40 bucks at TJ Maxx, and I was like, I'm not passing that up. So anyway, I have so much of this DNA, I'm never gonna run through it, but I haven't worn this in a while, so but this is the fragrance that inspired this video. When I first initially sprayed this one, I remember the day. It was back in 2020. I ordered it, and I think I ordered this one with Prada Amber Pour Homme, the Soapy Clean King. And when it first initially came in, I bought it, and it came in, and I was sitting in my car, and I unboxed it, looked at the bottle, unboxed it, sprayed it on, and I was kind of taken back. I was like, this is not at all what I thought it was going to be. It was really heavy in the tonka bean department and the vanilla department, and it wasn't what I was expecting at all. And so initially I had a lot of doubts. I said, I don't know if I'm gonna wear this all that much, and I even considered, what if I need to sell it, that kind of thought process. But now that I'm almost 4 years, oh my god, 4 years into it. Whew. I thought it was like 2 years ago or last year, and now it's 4 years, and it's gonna be 5 soon. What is going on? Anyway, regardless, whatever. Armani Code Absolute, one of the favorites, but initially it really wasn't. All right, the next one. This one came to mind second when I was thinking about the video concept after I was, made sure that I was gonna include Armani Code Absolute. I wanted to include a 1 million because for the longest time I was reluctant to wear a 1 million. I always thought the gold bar was the cheesiest thing on planet Earth. And I'm featuring 1 million Parfum here because of that tuberose note. I just did not care for the tuberose note at all. And it came across a little too floral for me. And, but I did end up buying 1 million Elixir because I smelled it on a few people, and I really enjoyed the way that the 1 million Elixir came across in the air, and people rocked it so incredibly well, and I had to buy a bottle. And when I bought the 1 million Elixir, that was my first 1 million fragrance, and I was really reluctant to buying it, but I bought that one. And I loved that one on first smell, so it wasn't a big, but I tried this one out in the store, and this is one of the reasons I did not want to get a 1 million, is because of how this thing smelled. And then as time progressed, I started wearing this one. I bought this one, you know, because of so much hype on the internet. I bought it, and when I first sprayed it on in my own comfort of my own home, I really enjoyed it, and I really found it was really nice. And then when I started wearing it, I just fell in love with it. So you know, this stuff is an amazing sunscreen kind of floral, but heavy in the citrus and the vanilla. This stuff is amazing. If you have not tried 1 Million Parfum, I would highly encourage you to. It's like a summer's, you know, going out sunscreen kind of fragrance DNA. Just really, really great. And the thing is like initially I bought this 1 Million Elixir, and this is what kind of like turned me on to the, you know, 1 Million DNA. The bottles really turned me off because I was like, I don't want a 1 million in my collection. Not at all. It's just too much for me. All right, let's talk about Versace Eros. So during 2020, I was going through kind of a breakup, and I was going to I was just traveling around. I was driving everywhere. I was going, you know, out in the middle of nowhere. I was going up to, you know, Denver. I was just going everywhere, and I was just driving everywhere, and I would stop at Sephora's and stuff and smell fragrances because I was a heavy fragrance enthusiast back in 2020 and before I started the channel in 2022. So I really came from a background of like really being a huge fragrance enthusiast. I was kind of addicted watching videos and stuff like that. But I went to Sephora and Dillard's and JCPenney's all the time to smell fragrances, and Eros Flame was always the one I gravitated towards, and I always wanted to pick up a bottle. I always wanted to, but I thought of Eros as such a cliche kind of fragrance that you can pick up as a fragrance enthusiast. And so I was reluctant to it. I liked the way it smelled, and I was kind of torn between Eros and, you know, the flame version here. So I was kind of like on the fence, and I wasn't really sure. This was not a fragrance DNA that turned me off to. I actually really loved the way it smelled, but it was just, I was so reluctant to buying it because, you know, just the stigma around wearing Eros. It's a more upscale Axe body spray in my eyes back then, and now I love it. It's so masterfully crafted. But yeah, initially I wasn't really a big fan of it, picking it up, but I like the DNA. I like the way it smelled. So, and I think that's a common thread throughout this video, is like some of these I was like reluctant to buy them just because of the, you know, the stigma around, you know, buying those kind of fragrances, but which is kind of, you know, weird. But all right, this one I actually had to warm up to the smell, and a lot more of these, you know, I had to warm up to the smell of them. This is Versace Dylan Blue, and this is a very nice blue fragrance. It's kind of a sharp shower gel kind of fragrance. It's got a lot of musk in here and some cleanness too, but it's a very nice, you know, citrusy heavy, musky heavy, just ambroxan kind of balm. And initially, I blind bought this one. I blind bought Dylan Blue, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. I really wasn't. I wore it like a couple times. I wore it like 3 or 4 times. One of the occasions I wore it to a private film screening for my movie that I produced, and it was like during 2020, so it was just a limited people. It's just the producers and stuff, but and a couple friends to get like criticisms on the film so that I can correct it right before the release. And this one really stands out because I was wearing it that day, and it holds really good memories for that day. Yeah, initially I really didn't like it, and I even gave it to my brother. I asked him if he had any fragrances that you know, he was wearing at the time, and he said no, he wasn't wearing anything, and so I gave him some Dylan Blue action, and I don't know if he still wears it or not, but yeah, I threw him my bottle, and I just said, here, take it. I'm not gonna wear it. You know, it's a little too strong and off-putting for me, but I ended up rebuying my bottle. After not wearing it for a little while, I actually wanted to spray it again and wear it again, so I kind of got addicted to it, and now I really like wearing it. It's one of the fragrances that I pull out and I really start enjoying. All right, this next one is Tom Ford Beau de Jour. And Beau de Jour was very, very challenging for me. As a younger guy, it's a bit challenging because, you know, initially I was really hooked on like the sweeter fragrances, the sweet, clean kind of fragrances, you know, the classic mass appealing kind of fragrances. And Beau de Jour here is not any of that. This is a heavy kind of barbershop kind of smell. It's got some patchouli in here, a nice lavender kind of mix in here, very dry and very, very spicy, and also just this cleanness. This is very masculine and well-liked fragrance, but you know, this is a very divisive fragrance because, you know, kind of like myself, it took me so long to actually like this. And when I actually did order this one, I still didn't like it. I went to Sephora, like I said, many times, and I sprayed on all of the popular designer fragrances, and Beau de Jour here, I always wanted to pick up a bottle of it, but I never liked the smell, which was a weird, you know, paradox that I was in. But I went to Sephora so many times, and every time that I sprayed this one on, I even sprayed it on my hand, walked around, and I hated it. I never liked this fragrance at all. And it wasn't until I ordered it and it came in and I started wearing it that I really kind of fell in love with it. Now I really enjoy wearing it. Whenever I need like a classy smell, you know, a safe kind of office fragrance, I'm wearing Beau de Jour because it's such a clean fragrance that you can pull it off anywhere, anytime, and just like smell amazing. And it's a bit grown up, so you definitely have a presence about you after you, and especially if you're a younger guy too. If you're a younger guy and you want to take yourself serious and you like to, you know, dress well and that kind of thing, Beau de Jour is I think a pinnacle in every man's collection at that point. All right, this next one is a niche fragrance, and this is B612. And this is from Nichane, and initially I really was interested by this one because of the cashmere note. And I really like cashmere. I have a couple of cashmere fragrances and I really enjoy them. This one has a heavy dose of it, and there's a lot more like lavender stuff going on in here. This one was very, very challenging for me to wear. Initially, I was kind of taken back based on the way it smelled and just the way it came across. It was very, very nice. It's citrusy, it's spicy, it's cashmere, it's fresh, it's clean, it's an easy like office kind of fragrance, and you smell like this is a really great fragrance. When I first initially sprayed it on, I was like challenged by it. It was really an interesting fragrance that kind of left me speechless. I didn't know how to feel about it. And now after wearing it for some time, I really do enjoy it. It's a bit of a more uniquer fragrance in my collection, but it's kind of in the same ballpark as Beau de Jour. It's not like the same scent profile by any means, but when I would wear it is in like a classy upscale environment. When I want to be taken seriously, I would be wearing B612. So, but it's a heavy cashmere fragrance, and a lot of people like cashmere dosed really low. And when I say a lot of people, I mean myself. This one really came across challenging. I really do enjoy it now. It's one of the fragrances that I pull out when I really want to be classy. All right, Prada Luna Rossa Black. This one caught me so off guard. It was, I neglected this one for so long, and then it started getting more addicting for me. Prada Luna Rossa Black has a beautiful amber kind of note in here. It's got this nice warm woodiness going on in here, but the main thing is that warm amber and this kind of powdery musk kind of thing going on in there as well. But it's so excellent. There's a little bit of angelica in here as well. But initially it kind of smelled like Play-Doh for me, and I really did not enjoy it at all. It was kind of one of those fragrances that kind of, I sprayed it on and I actually returned it. You know, definitely returned it. And then after, you know, going to Sephora's and Ulta's and smelling fragrances and kind of like revisiting it again, I kind of just like I could not get it out of the back of my mind. I was like, I really need Prada Luna Rossa Black. And so I ended up buying it. I bought a bottle of it back in 2020 or so, and I just simply love it now. I mean, in the winter time, you know, fall time, kind of the season that we're coming into now, this is the fragrance that I wear almost every day. It's like not every day because I have so many fragrances to choose from, but essentially I'll wear this as an everyday signature scent during the winter time because it's so good. And it's one of the fragrances I enjoy so much that I would be okay with wearing it like, you know, day in and day out. So, but Prada Luna Rossa Black, it took me off guard for a little bit because of that Play-Doh kind of smell. It was just wild. I was like, why does that smell like Play-Doh? Since then, the Play-Doh note has really kind of toned down. It doesn't really come across like Play-Doh anymore. I get a lot more ambroxan in it, but now, yeah, I don't really find any kind of Play-Doh-iness nowadays. All right, let's talk about Instant Crush. Instant Crush was one of the fragrances that I was so confused why men were wearing this, but as I started warming up to it, it's very nice. It's so nice. It's like a warm vanillic cloud with this ethyl maltol, just sweetness. And you know, it's not like one of my favorite DNAs of all time. Let me get that straight. When I first initially sprayed this one on, I just thought it was a woman's perfume. And it was like, not like, but everyone was saying it's amazing on men and yada, yada, yada. And I just didn't believe them at all. So this one is definitely challenging. It smells like kind of like Ariana Grande's Cloud, but just made a touch more masculine, and then, you know, just like that. But since then, I really do find it's very nice. It's still very sweet, and it could be labeled as a woman's perfume. This is a definite unisex fragrance through and through, even border into the feminine department. But I really like it wearing it, and whenever I do wear it, it falls into this just like, I love the way I'm smelling right now. And that's when you know, like, that's when you put a little check mark, you know, a mental check mark in the back of your head with the fragrances, when you really do enjoy the way you're smelling. And, you know, I don't know. Anyway, but this one, yeah. Instant Crush is a very sweet fragrance. It's kind of like a cloud vanillic-like fragrance, and it's almost similar to Ariana Grande's Cloud and that kind of BK540 kind of smell, but it's heavy doses of woods in here in the base, and then you get this like clean musk at the base, but it's mainly sweet and vanillic and very, very potent. All right, this next one is Night Vision Eau de Parfum from Spice Bomb, Viktor and Ralph, and this is one of the ones that came out. It got a lot of love online. I wasn't making content at the time, but I bought it based off all of the hype. Everyone was like, this was the best Spice Bomb to get. This is the Spice Bomb to get. So I bought it, and initially I sprayed it on, and I was just like kind of not really feeling it. I did not feel it at all. It was kind of this just interesting kind of DNA, fresh, sweet, musky, but heavy in the sweetness. It was just not one of the fragrances that I really jived with at all. But then I started wearing it more and more and more. And actually I went through a pretty hard time during 2021 or so, 2022. Yeah, 2021, 22. At the end of 2022, is a long story, is kind of hectic and wild, but I was in between like living arrangements, and all of my belongings were in storage, and I only had like a couple of fragrances with me. So like all of my fragrances were in a storage unit, so I didn't have access to my whole collection. And so there was only a couple fragrances that I was using at the time. And I remember for about a month straight, I was wearing Night Vision Eau de Parfum, and I really do love it. Nowadays it's very nice, but it brings back so many weird memories for me, and so many but yeah, there's actually a significant dent in here. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a significant dent in here because I used to wear this stuff almost every day. Back before I was making fragrance content, I would wear this stuff all the time. It's like a sweeter, cleaner, easier to wear Spice Bomb. And honestly, it smells like Axe body spray a little bit, and it was kind of a guilty pleasure of mine, okay? All right, now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments down below which fragrances did turn you off initially, and then like you revisit it, and now it's one of your favorite fragrances of all time. Let me know in the comments down below, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.